G'day everybody. Welcome back to the CAD clock drawing video series. In the last video, we just went through how to incorporate the mechanism into your drawing. So you can see I've got two-part studios, the mechanism, the clock, version 1 I've called it, and you can see that the mechanism fits in here perfectly. And if we zoom in, there's a 1/2 mil gap all the way around, so if you can see that and that. Okay, something that I thought might help is just to quickly show you if you want to put numbers on your clock or letters, or if you want to type something. So if in this basic clock, yours is going to look so much better than mine, but again, this is just to show you how it works. And remember all the techniques that we learned from the other videos. So, in putting a picture in and, all the other fancy stuff. So we're going to go extrude, no we're not, we're going to go sketch. We're going to put a sketch on this face here, so on the front face of the clock in my case. I'm going to get a line. I'm going to press Q on my keyboard for a construction line. I'm going to just divvy it up into 4 quarters. You might want to do something a little bit different. If you've seen a clock that you like or you've had a great idea, you can run these lines any particular way as long as they go through the middle. So you could sort of do, you could go here, and then I wonder if we can just extend that line all the way through. Yep, so there you go. You can do all that sort of stuff too. And if you want a particular degrees, you could do one straight down the middle, hit D for dimension, click and click, set that at 45, and then you've got your exactly where you want it. Or in our case, if you were doing this and you wanted to say put a 1 in, you probably want 33 degrees, because that's 90, 33, 33, no 30. Oh dear. 30, 60, 90. Perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to put a 12 in just to make life easy. So you come up here to text, just draw a box somewhere. You can draw it on or you can draw it off, doesn't really matter. Put the text you want in. You can change, you get some a little look at different texts, and you can play around with this. This will flip it different ways just depending on what you want to do, and then you press the button and you'll get your 12. So this thing just works like a box. You can move it all the way around. The easiest way I've found is just to locate it. So you can use point if you want, but because I've got 2 numbers, it's already got a center point. So you can see where the square is. The square highlight means it's the middle of that line. So I'm just going to come in and coincidence. So I want, it just means to touch. I just want this point and that to touch. So when I try and move it now, it stays on that line. I will drag it down a little bit just to make it a bit easier. I'm going to put a dimension from the top to the top, and I'm just going to call it 5. I'm going to put a dimension here, so this is the size of my text. I want a little bit smaller, and you can see that it's fully constrained now. It doesn't want to move anymore. Everything else is either set by the digits, the numbers, or by these, or by my geometric constraint, which was pushing that there. Once you've got that, click the tick. Now, depending on how you want to do this, you might want to just print the numbers on top, or you might want to use a different color filament and print them separate. There'd be 2 different ways to do that. The easiest way is just do it the same. So if I'm doing that, I'm just going to click my number 1. Whoa, it shot right out. Whoops. Number 2. It seems to be a bit funny. What is going on? So you just want to select Actually, if you just click sketch, it should do it. If all you've done is sketch your numbers, you just click the sketch, it should do it. Should be a little bit easier. I don't want them coming out that far, so just 3. With yours, something important to note is this, you can't go any higher than this. All right, so just sort of eyeballing it, I'm not as high, but you can always sort of do it and then check your size. So that's 5 mil and this was 3 mil. 3, so that will be fine. Um, but yeah, you can't be any higher than that. If you want to have bigger numbers, you're going to need to squash this clock face down a little bit. So you can see there that that's done like this. All right. Um, if you wanted to do something a little bit fancier, you can. I'll just double click this one. Instead of doing that, you can remove, you can push them in, and then you can click the tick. So that will push them in. It's a little bit more modern. You could also go somewhere else. So take your sketch, um, extrude from the sketch again. Yep. And I don't know how much I'm going to make them. I'll make them 5. Click that and then just go new. Definitely want new parts here and click the tick, because what will happen is, let's just say I wanted um, them different colors, then I need to print them at a different time because the printer will be using a different filament then. So that's basically how that works. Um, have a play around with that. We'll see how it works. You may actually need to give yourself a little bit of tolerance as well. So you might need to run another sketch here, and instead of having make your gap like 11 just to make the numbers a bit bigger, and then when you go to print your numbers, make them 10, if that makes sense. So the gap is bigger than the numbers, and you just need that tolerance to you just need that little extra to put it in. But otherwise, that's that. So you can like write or do whatever else, and you saw all the different stuff in the sketch. You can turn it upside down or whatever you want to do. All right, fantastic. Any questions? Ask me. Otherwise, I really look forward to seeing what you do.